Welcome to AK Anime Explainer. Today is explanation of Soul Land 3, Legend of the Dragon King Part 83. Without any delay, start explanation. The sound of combat pierced through the air. It was chaos incarnate, thundering booms shaking the earth and sending debris flying sometimes meters away. Battles had broken out throughout every corner of the forest, spreading like wildfire. However, this was natural, as 101 participants were scrambling for a measly 3 positions. They all believed themselves destined to stand at the summit, special and extraordinary among crowds of the mundane. And today was the best chance to showcase just that to their teachers. Son with rays. Senior brother, who do you think will become the class president? Xinyi asked, eyes glued to the large screen on the wall, analyzing. Tang Wulin, Wu Zhongkong answered. Tang Wulin? Are you sure? Wu Zhongkong nodded. But Gu and several other students are stronger than him. He doesn't shine in any aspect and we have a lot of good newcomers flooding in this year, Xinyi said. The inner court standards are extremely strict now. In fact, the outer court is practically used to toughen students without letting them enter the inner court directly. Do you really think Tang Wulin has a chance against those students? Wu Zhongkong shook his head. It's not his strength that will allow him to win, but his character. I know Tang Wulin isn't the most gifted of his classmates, and Gu is obviously stronger than him. In fact, Xie and Xu Xiaoyan are about equal to him as well. Not to mention, there are numerous students with more talent than him. That said, I am certain no one is more suited to be class president. Xinyi was taken aback. Is it because he's a schemer? Because he's so two-faced? Wu Zhongkong shook his head again. No. It's because he has the temperament of a leader. A leader's temperament? Aren't you exaggerating a bit too much? Xinyi prodded. Once more, Wu Zhongkong shook his head. I'm not. Watch him carefully from now on. It took me 3 years to uncover what sort of person he is. He may be rotten at times, but his character truly shines when he's faced with a challenge and still manages to make the right decision. You say he's two-faced, but when his comrades are in danger, he doesn't hesitate to step forward to help. Even then, he somehow manages to minimize the damage. Furthermore, his situational awareness is a level above his peers. If he wasn't in charge of his team, then their fighting strength would decrease by 20 or maybe even 30%. But under his lead, they act as one cohesive whole. His charisma unites the people at his side and makes them willingly accept his commands. Both Gu and Xie are proud kids, but they never forget to call him captain. It's his actions that demand their heartfelt admiration. So like I said before, just watch. I am convinced that out of everyone out there, he's the most likely to become class president. Xinyi hummed, eyes glazing over thoughtfully. I'll sit back and observe then. And I'll await an excellent performance from him. Sun with rays. Farther out into the distance, a blood-soaked figure dressed in tattered attire leaped out of the bushes. On his back were a pair of white wings, nothing like the holy angel ones Tang Wulin had seen before. Instead of feathers, white hair covered the surface area of the wings, black stripes knitted like spider webs. These same stripes snaked throughout his body. If not for his humanoid form, it would be easy to mistake him for a tiger. This person had a muscular body covered in wounds. Yet, he managed to rush forward like a roaring gale. They said clouds come from dragons and winds come from tigers. Tiger-type martial souls were powerful, but he outdone even that by possessing a winged tiger martial soul. As he dashed from the bushes, 3 figures followed chase. Leading was someone shrouded in a black haze. The pack moved in complete silence, not a single rustle of a leaf could be heard as they shot through the forest. The area around them dimmed as if the light was being sucked into their pitch-black haze. The black figures flashed forward, leaving after-images behind as they closed the gap between them and their prey. It seemed that the winged tiger wasn't truly capable of flight, especially with a gaping hole in his right wing. Compared to their leader, the 2 behind the shadowy figure were slower, trailing behind as the one in front overtook the winged tiger soul master. A jet black light exploded. Even 50 meters away, Tang Wulin broke out into a cold sweat at its sheer power. This chill came not from the weather, but from the very depths of his soul. What martial soul is that? Stricken with dread, the winged tiger soul master barrel rolled in the air, activating his purple third soul ring. His body expanded, a golden shine dusting his hair as he spun around roaring to face the attack. As soon as he did, a wave of darkness descended, engulfing both the winged tiger and the shadowy figure pursuing him. A blink, and the winged tiger soul master blasted out of the darkness like a rocket. He smashed into the ground and slid through it, his damaged wing snapped off clean. Then the shadowy figure left the darkness embrace, the black haze covering their body thin enough for Tang Wulin to discern their appearance. Ashen hair. Sickly pale skin. It was a youth whose physical appearance bore nothing attractive to say so the least, and the only features worth a second glance were perhaps his hair and eyes. That said, he seemed to have sprang out from another world. In his right hand was a large scythe. The handle was no less than 3 meters long and its blade stretched to 1 meter, alluring violet patterns etched into the metal. In fact, those decorations sucked in the soul of the observer. That's... The grey-haired youth lifted his scythe as he approached the winged tiger soul master, one leisurely step at a time. Show some mercy, begged the wounded party. But his pleas were left unanswered. A flash of shadow, followed by blinding white light. And the powerful winged tiger soul master was no more. Moments later, the two people following the ashen-haired youth finally caught up to their leader. "Captain, you're so awesome." One of them flashed a big thumbs up. Wearing a perfect impassive mask, the aforementioned captain continued on as if nothing out of the ordinary had occurred. "Let's go." Hidden in the trees far away, Tang Wulin and his team had witnessed this one-sided battle with bated breath. Their eyes trembled with shock. It wasn't just the strength of the grey-haired youth that came as a bombshell. It was his soul rings too. He had 4 yellow soul rings. Although none of them were of the 1,000-year level, he still had 4 rings. A whopping 4. Since he was a new student like them, he was 15 at the oldest. Yet he was a soul elder. Only one word came to mind to describe him: terrifying. However, what was truly baffling was despite his strength, he did not have a single 1,000-year soul ring. Then again, this was to be expected of Shrek Academy, the congregation point of all things bizarre. I recognize him. He's from Bright City. Tang Wulin and Gu turned to the owner of the voice, Yang Nianxia. Gone was the sparkling honesty in his eyes. Instead, a fierce light flickered in their depths, as if he were some ferocious beast on alert. "Bright City? Who is he?" Tang Wulin asked. "His name is Xu Yucheng. It's an ordinary name, but he's super famous in Bright City. He's from the Imperial Sun Moon Soul Engineer Academy. I hear he is nicknamed Immortal. Immortal Xu Yucheng. His martial soul is the Demon Scythe, also known as the Reaper's Scythe. Pay attention to him. The reason he has 4 rings with not a single purple one is because his body can't handle it. The Demon Scythe isn't a peak-level martial soul. But that's not because it isn't powerful. No, it's because it's so powerful it begins devouring the Soul Master's body. Because of that, his body is so frail he doesn't dare fuse with a 1,000-year spirit soul yet. In fact, having that many 100-year soul rings is impressive for his situation." Yang Nianxia's eyes grew wide, his words becoming more and more grave. He's not just the strongest student under 15 at the Imperial Sun Moon Soul Engineering Academy, he even dominated everyone 18 years old and under. Remember that. I never expected him to enter our class. This is going to be troublesome. Also, the 2 following him should be from the Imperial Sun Moon Soul Engineering Academy. Like Shrek Academy, that academy has over 10,000 years of history, and I even hear that back then, they stood toe-to-toe with them. Xu Yucheng truly was a formidable opponent. With 4 soul rings, he stood at the peak of the 1st grade. Tang Wulin's team would have to face him sooner or later, but from what they had seen, victory would be no easy feat. He really is too powerful. I'm not sure if we even stand a chance against him. Big Brother Yang, do you think you can withstand his attack? Tang Wulin asked with a worried face. Yang Nianxia thought about it for a moment. I can probably endure for a short while, he replied. I think suppressing him with ranged attacks is the best approach. If we do face him, I'll keep him occupied while Gu showers him with her ice attribute attacks. He has a frail body, so he will be more susceptible to elemental attacks. Don't worry, we still have a chance. Wu Lin. You're a control-type soul master, right? Yeah. Tang Wulin nodded. Our team composition is pretty good then. You control, I'll be the vanguard, and Gu can attack from a distance. All right, we got this. Fire blazed in Yang Nianxiao's eyes. Tang Wulin relaxed, a trace of admiration flashing through his eyes. I have a suggestion, big brother Yang. I think you should be the captain of our team. Gu and I are from East Sea City, a distant place, so we're not as knowledgeable as you. You're strong and experienced. With you as captain, we'll be able to last even longer in this competition. If we last until the end, you should be class president and we'll be your vice presidents. Yang Nianxia smiled wryly and patted Tang Wulin on the shoulder. Sure. Don't worry. I'll definitely protect you too. Gu lowered her head, hiding the twitching of her mouth from Yang Nianxia as she fought to contain her laughter. Tang Wulin beamed. Big brother Yang, what should we do now? I've almost fully recovered, and my martial soul is still fine. Once I'm ready, we'll go join the fray and pick some fights too, Yang Nianxia answered. The class president is whoever lasts the longest, but if someone wins the position by just hiding the entire time, I don't think our classmates would accept them. The class president isn't just a figurehead after all. They are responsible for leading the class. To that end, strength is paramount. Oh. So it's like that, Tang Wulin said. I thought just being the last person standing would be enough. A slight smile formed on Yang Nianxia's lips, then he stood up. You have to look at things on a deeper level. Now let's get going. Tang Wulin pulled Gu in front of him so she stood behind Yang Nianxia. She turned around and glared at him, puffing her cheeks out. He simply smiled in response. Yang Nianxia was cautious as they advanced. Their path always zigzagged to take advantage of the shadows the foliage provided, and they silently made their way toward the most chaotic part of the forest. A flash of white light suddenly bathed the area before them. Yang Nianxia raised a hand and Tang Wulin and Gu came to a halt. Another competitor had been eliminated. A group walked out ahead of them. It was a team of 7. Leading the way was a tall youth with a shield in his hands. He had 3 soul rings, 2 yellow and 1 purple. Behind that youth was a handsome boy, the most eye-catching of the 7. He had long blue hair flowing down his back and an air of stability around him. Wu Zhongkong also had blue hair, but their auras differed like black and white. Wu Zhongkong was the icily arrogant Prince Charming, whereas this youth wore a lukewarm smile as if he had everything under control. He was slender and had pale skin, blue hair, and blue eyes. Every single one of his movements was as natural as drifting clouds and flowing water, as if he were one with nature. Even watching from afar, Tang Wulin could tell that this person was the core of that team. 2 people flanked the blue-haired youth, both of whom looked slender and agile. But behind him was someone that Tang Wulin and Gu were all too familiar with. It was Xu Xiaoyan. With her cute face and sweet smile, Xu Xiaoyan naturally found her place behind the blue-haired youth, occasionally exchanging a few words with him. Following Tang Wulin's team from a distance, Xie had climbed a tree. When he saw Xu Xiaoyan with that team, the corner of his mouth began to twitch. The old saying really is true, Xie mumbled. Life really is like a drama, and everything is an act. Yang Nianxia motioned to Tang Wulin and Gu. He quietly squatted into the shrubbery, concealing his presence as much as possible. There were 101 students in the first grade, but surprisingly enough, there was a 7-man team. This was likely the largest team in the competition. Considering how organized their ranks were, they definitely worked well together. Yang Nianxia turned to Tang Wulin and whispered, "It's actually a 7-man team." This is a bit troublesome. 3-man, 5-man, and 7-man teams all have different tactics, and a team of 7 is the optimal number. They are able to advance or retreat however they want without a single member being redundant. We should avoid them for now and let other teams weaken them first. Do you recognize them? Tang Wulin asked. I know that girl in their team. She's also from the Sky Sea Alliance. Her name is Xu Xiaoyan. She has an Ice Staff Martial Soul, and she's an Ice Attribute Controller. Her abilities are a bit similar to Gu's, but slightly weaker. I don't recognize any of the others. I only know about the guy in the center. He's really annoying to deal with, maybe even more than Xu Yucheng. Huh? Tang Wulin stared at Yang Nianxiao in astonishment. He's more powerful than that demon Scythe guy. Yang Nianxiao shook his head. He isn't more powerful, he can't even hope to compare with Xu Yucheng. However, Yang Nianxiao paused for a moment, then said, he's from Heaven Do City. His name is Luo Guixing. He's a control-type soul master that has 3 soul rings, but his spiritual power is his most noteworthy quality. I heard that he's already reached the Spirit Sea realm. Aside from that, he's a space-type soul master. I was in the same entrance exam group as him. I was there to witness him get a total of 93 points in the end, which is supposedly the highest score in the last 50 or so years. Considering his ability, he shouldn't have any problems with entering the inner court. His space abilities are extremely powerful, and he'll be annoying to deal with when he has such a large group of teammates. Space type? Tang Wulin subconsciously glanced at Guu. Elemental-type soul masters were rare, and the most common elements wielded were the 4 base elements: water, fire, earth, and wind. As for light, darkness, and space, they were called the 3 higher elements and were the most powerful. Of the 3, space was the most mysterious and deceptive. Developing the space element for control would only result in a powerful combination. Furthermore, all space-type soul skills were strong. Luo Guixing also has a nickname, Shakala. Both Shakala Luo Guixing and Immortal Xu Yucheng are top geniuses of our generation and were supposedly already chosen to enter the inner court. The girl that Guu helped me defeat a while back is also quite famous. She's a poison-type soul master, and her martial soul is the Jade Phosphorus Snake Emperor, a martial soul that excels at guerrilla warfare. She's quite arrogant, but fairly weak in one-on-one combat. Her name is Xingyiran, also known as Jade Snake Xingyiran. Have you guys heard of the Continental rankings? The Continental rankings? What's that? Tang Wulin blankly shook his head. This was his first time hearing of it. Yang Nianxiao stared at him in shock. You really don't know about it? It looks like East Sea City really is a remote place. The Continental rankings is a series of rankings specially curated by the Spirit Pagoda for us soul masters. The objective of these rankings is to promote the development of soul masters as a whole, as well as individually. Several smaller lists make up these rankings. The main one is the Doluo Continent ranking, which lists the top 100 battle armor masters in order. There are a lot of other rankings as well, such as for blacksmiths, mecha designers, makers, and mechanics. Then there's the Genius Youths ranking. It's considered a secondary ranking outside of the Continental rankings. Anyone on it is destined to make it onto the Continental rankings, assuming they don't meet with an unfortunate accident. Only those 18 and under can have their names listed there, with their talent, strength, secondary profession, and soul power all assessed. There are 30 spots on this list altogether. Of these 30 slots, the majority are held by students of Shrek Academy. And of those Shrek students, 7 are under 15 years old. In our class, there's the rank 17 Shakala Luo Guixing, the rank 19 Immortal Xu Yucheng, and the rank 30 Jade Snake Xingyiran. Tang Wulin felt his heart tremble from hearing of this ranking system for the first time. Big brother Yang, you must be part of that 7, right? Probably ranked even higher than Xingyiran too. You're so strong. Yang Nianxiao chuckled. I just made it onto the list, rank 27. Everyone calls me Dark Bear. Dark Bear? Tang Wulin snickered in his heart. The nickname suits him. He's cunning and can hide it so well. Actually, the rankings aren't absolute. The difference in strength between us isn't that great. For example, take Shu Yucheng. He has a higher cultivation than the three-ringed Luo Guixing, but he ranks lower. So you see, the ranking is a comprehensive evaluation of talent. Luo Guixing isn't the highest ranked person in our class either. There's a person under 16 who's made it to rank 9. Rank 9? Tang Wulin gaped. He controls the space element, but he isn't at the top of the list? Yang Nianxia nodded, solemn in his action. It's said that there hasn't been a class of new students as powerful as ours in 100 years. To have 2 or 3 students on the Genius Youths ranking in a batch of new students is already considered excellent. But the current Shrek Academy? It has 7 on the list. To be fair, 2 of them are already in the 2nd grade, so technically we have 5 in our class. The highest ranked person is called Wu Sidua. I'm not sure how we compare in strength, but I know she's from Star Luo City. She has 4 soul rings, but unlike Shu Yucheng, all of them are 1000-year. She's praised as a once-in-a-century genius in Star Luo City, and it's likely she'll reach the top of the Genius Youths ranking by the time she turns 18. And besides that, she's also a 4th-rank mecha designer. Truly amazing. Actually, she's similar to you in that regard. You've also reached the 4th rank, right? It's surprising that you've managed to do that with only 2 soul rings. The way in which Gu watched Tang Wulin shifted at that moment. Originally, she had disapproved of teaming up with Yang Nianxia, not to mention his decision to lay low. However, she was beginning to see the wisdom in his actions. At the very least, they gained a thorough understanding of the Genius Youths ranking from Yang Nianxia and knew who the 5 strongest students in their class were. Does that Wu Sidua have a nickname too? Tang Wulin asked. Nicknames spoke volumes about the person. Her nickname is Hell. Hell Wu Sidua. She's supposedly a beauty, but to earn that kind of nickname in addition to her looks. I have no idea how powerful she could be. Hell Wu Sidua, Shakala Luo Guixing, Immortal Shu Yucheng, Dark Bear Yang Nianxia, and Jade Snake Janiran who already got eliminated. These are the 5 strongest people in our class, and they are all on the Genius Youths ranking. Tang Wulin turned his focus to Gu. He was convinced if Gu revealed her full might, she would make it far on that prestigious list. As if psychic, Gu met his gaze, a flash of pride and yearning for battle in her eyes. It caught him by surprise. This really is Shrek Academy. Everyone is so much more talented than me. I'll have to work even harder if I want to make it on that list. He liked this sort of pressure. Of course, he wanted to pick up the class president's mantle. But he'd be lying to say it was necessary to him. No, his true aim in this competition was to gain a sense of how powerful his classmates were. Learning about the 5 rankers was enough for today. Now he could focus on the competition. Yang Nianxia waited until there were no signs of Luo Guixing's group before leading Tang Wulin and Gu in the opposite direction. The competition had gone on for about half an hour. All of a sudden, Xinyi's voice shook the very skies. 48 students remain. The combat zone shall be reduced by 50%. Space warped in the next moment, the forest twisting and transforming into somewhere entirely new. The terrain changes at the half-hour mark? Luckily, Tang Wulin had subconsciously grabbed Gu when that had happened. After everything settled, Tang Wulin caught sight of a group of people before him. Yang Nianxia was still at his front, but now, about 30 meters further off in the distance, stood Luo Guixing's group. In addition, a girl stood off to the left and 2 boys to the right. A mass of people were thrown into this clearing in the blink of an eye. This? Luo Guixing reacted first. Tidy up the battlefield. The vanguard, a youth with a shield, immediately charged at his nearest opponent, the 2 boys on the side. The entire team of 7 moved in sync with him, rapidly closing in on the duo. Do we run? Tang Wulin asked. Yang Nianxia waved his hand. No. This is a good opportunity. As he spoke, he approached the girl on the left. Tang Wulin took note of this tall girl. She had wavy, auburn hair, pale skin, and large eyes. Her beauty was contrasted by her cold attitude that seemed to warn all to stay away. She didn't withdraw from them. Instead, she walked forward to greet them while releasing her martial soul. "Let's team up against Luo Guixing's group," Yang Nianxia shouted when they were 20 meters apart. Surprise was evident on her face. She narrowed her eyes, weighing the pros and cons. "All right." Her voice was sweet and gentle. Without another word, she switched targets to Luo Guixing's group and shot off like a rocket. "Prepare for battle," Yang Nianxia shouted as he rushed forward, his body expanding and dark gold hair covering his body as he summoned his martial soul. A pair of purple soul rings rose from beneath Tang Wulin while blue-silver grass followed Yang Nianxia's wake. All the while Gu remained situated at Tang Wulin's side. No sooner had they broke into a sprint, a green light shot out and enveloped Tang Wulin and Yang Nianxia, boosting their speed. Yang Nianxia glanced backward in shock. Wind element? It was now that he recalled Tang Wulin's words about Gu support. She used ice before, and now wind? Does she have twin martial souls? Even so, Yang Nianxia's astonishment was short-lived. After all, he had never heard of anyone named Gu on the Genius Youths ranking. Silver lights twinkled and rose from the feet of the two boys in battle. Suddenly, the shield-bearing youth accelerated and crashed into his opponents. Yet instead of sending them flying, the two boys seemed glued to the shield. Then with a wave of her staff, Xu Xiaoyan impaled the other boy with an ice spear. In a flash of light, both boys were eliminated. From beginning to end, only a few seconds had passed. In fact, Yang Nianxia had drawn the other girl to his side at the same time Luo Guixing's group neutralized the two boys. Their battle efficiency was shocking. Through it all, Luo Guixing never stopped smiling. His 3 soul rings, 2 yellow and 1 purple, twinkled in turn. Without pause, the shield youth turned to charge at the girl coming from Tang Wulin's side. Silver light swallowed up the ground beneath her. This time, Tang Wulin could clearly see space warping around her, compressing her and locking her in place. This video will end here. Like video and subscribe to my channel.